The message came without warning. It appeared on every screen on Earth. Phones, TVs, computers, even satellites. The message was not written in any known language, but somehow everyone understood it. The Galactic Empire invites the people of Earth to join the stars. Your species has been noticed. You are now worthy. At first, people thought it was a joke. Maybe a new movie trailer? Or a hacker's prank? But then the skies changed. A shadow passed over the Earth's surface. Not clouds, not a storm, but something huge, something in orbit. Satellites captured the image first. A ship, larger than any human-built structure, had appeared above the planet. It didn't enter with sound. It didn't need to fire weapons. It just floated silently, glowing with soft golden lights and symbols humans had never seen. The governments of Earth went into panic mode. In the United Nations, leaders shouted. In secret bunkers, military generals looked at radar maps. World armies went on high alert. Fighter jets launched into the skies, but the ship didn't move. It simply waited. The arrival 6 hours after the message, a second signal came. Prepare a landing zone. We will send our ambassador. The Galactic Empire was real, and they were coming. In Washington, D.C., a large open field was cleared. Cameras from around the world focused on it. Millions watched the live broadcast. Then, without noise, without wind, without engines, the alien shuttle appeared. It didn't fall from the sky. It blinked into existence, like someone had turned on a light. The ship was smooth, silver, and shaped like a bird's wing. It opened slowly, revealing a ramp. And from it walked the first alien the world had ever seen. He was tall, at least 8 feet. His skin was bright silver, like polished metal. His eyes glowed blue. He wore flowing golden robes with high symbols across the chest. Behind him, 4 guards in black armor marched in silence. The alien raised one hand and spoke. I am Lord Virex, ambassador of the Galactic Empire. You have been noticed. You are now invited. Humanity's first response. The President of the United States stepped forward, followed by leaders from other nations. They tried to remain calm, but everyone could see the tension in their faces. Cameras zoomed in. The world was watching. The President spoke into the microphone. We welcome this message, but we must ask, why now? Lord Virex smiled, but it was not a kind smile. Because you are finally useful. Your planet has reached the level of basic spaceflight. You may now serve the Empire. The word serve echoed strangely. The crowd fell quiet. No one clapped. Behind the cameras in command centers and underground bunkers, human generals took notes. They didn't like this tone. Still, the President replied politely. Then we will consider your offer. Lord Virex raised his eyebrow. Consider? No. You will accept. This is not a choice. This is an honor. The parade of power, the next day, Earth's skies were filled with ships. Dozens of smaller alien crafts flew in patterns above major cities. They displayed holograms showing the Empire's reach, maps of galaxies, pictures of alien worlds, endless fleets of warships. One image showed hundreds of planets bowing to the Emperor. Another showed massive machines destroying moons. It was clear what the Empire was showing: power, control, fear. In one image, a rebel species was wiped out by a single ship. The message was simple: obey, or be erased. But Earth didn't respond with fear. Instead, something strange began to happen. Behind closed doors, human leaders met in silence. Scientists were brought into hidden labs. Old black sites were reopened, forgotten satellites were activated, and around the world, people began to laugh, not out loud, but in private, in quiet rooms. Like they knew something the Empire didn't. The silent meeting, a special council of humans was formed. Top minds from America, China, Russia, India, and other nations gathered. They weren't just politicians. There were spies, generals, hackers, engineers. The question was simple. What does the Empire want? The answer came quickly. They want workers, one general said. They want soldiers, another added. No, a woman in a gray suit whispered. They want us because we're dangerous. They've seen our potential. Now, they want to control it. A long silence filled the room. Then someone smiled. They're too late. A warning in return. On the third day, a reply was sent to the Galactic Empire. It was a simple message, just 3 words spoken in calm tone. We accept cautiously. Lord Virex received the message on his ship. He didn't like the pause, before the last word. He didn't like the human smile in the video. They should be honored, he told his guards. They should be afraid. But deep down, something didn't feel right. Humans were not acting like other species. There was no panic, no worship, no begging, just silence and smiles. The human ship Odyssey 1 entered warp space for the first time. It wasn't fast. It wasn't beautiful. It looked like a floating metal box with rusted panels. But inside it, Earth's finest minds sat in silence. Scientists, diplomats, and a quiet man named General Cade. They were on their way to the Galactic Empire's capital, a planet called Valerian Prime. The invitation had been accepted. The Empire wanted to impress them, but Earth had its own plans. The capital world Valerian Prime was nothing like Earth. Its cities floated in the sky, built on rings of fire and crystal. The buildings reached beyond clouds, glowing with alien energy. Ships flew in perfect patterns. Giant statues of the Emperor stood on every corner. To the aliens, this was beauty, power, order. To the humans, it looked excessive. As the Odyssey 1 approached, Empire ships scanned it. Their scanners stopped, confused. The human ship was using strange shielding, something the Empire couldn't fully read. They must be hiding weakness, said one Imperial officer. Or hiding strength, whispered another. The welcome parade Lord Virex stood at the grand landing platform, dressed in even shinier robes. Hundreds of aliens from different species stood behind him. Cameras hovered in the air. Music played from floating orbs. The humans walked down the ramp in quiet steps. No fear, no bowing. They simply looked around with curiosity. General Cade stepped forward and nodded once. Thank you for the welcome, he said. Lord Virex smiled, but there was tension in his eyes. We are honored to host you. Welcome to the greatest civilization in the galaxy. Cade glanced at the golden statues. Impressive. You must be very proud. There was no awe in his voice, just calm. That was the first moment the Empire realized something felt off. The Emperor speaks. Later that day, the human delegation was brought before the Emperor himself. He sat on a massive throne made of stone and metal, his robes stretching across the floor. His eyes glowed with red light. 1,000 soldiers stood still around him. He began his speech. Humans of Earth, you are now part of something greater. The Empire protects. The Empire controls. You will be given knowledge, ships, protection. And in return, you will serve. No human clapped. Instead, one scientist leaned toward General Cade and whispered, "Did he just offer slavery as a gift?" Cade didn't reply, but a slight smile touched his lips. The Empire's display. After the speech, the humans were shown the Empire's history. A large chamber displayed holograms of past conquests. Planet after planet had fallen. Rebellions crushed, civilizations erased. The Empire showed it all proudly. One scene showed a war planet being torn apart by a massive weapon. "This is the Sunbreaker cannon," said the guide. "It can destroy a world in minutes." The humans watched in silence. When the display ended, the alien guide smiled. "Are you impressed?" One human scientist adjusted his glasses. "It's a good trick. We've destroyed ourselves in worse ways." The private. Talks later that night. Inside their guest chambers, the human team met in secret. "They think they scared us," said Dr. Lin, a tech officer. "They think we've never seen war," said Cade. "They don't understand Earth at all." "Shall we show them a little?" someone asked. Cade nodded. "Not yet. Let them keep the show going. Let them think we're small." Outside their room, an Empire spy drone floated quietly. But it was already hacked. The humans had been listening to the Empire the whole time. The first mistake. The next day, Lord Virex called a private meeting with Cade. "Why are your people not reacting with excitement?" he asked. Cade smiled. "Because we've met tyrants before. Yours just dresses better." Virex's eyes narrowed. "You should watch your words, General. The Empire does not forgive disrespect." "Then it's a good thing I didn't come here for your forgiveness," Cade replied calmly. That conversation was recorded. It was shown to the Emperor. And for the first time, the Empire realized humans were not afraid. The laugh on their fourth day, the humans were invited to a grand alien opera, a musical performance that showed the glory of the Empire. The show was long, loud, full of glowing lights and praises for the Emperor. At the end, the audience of alien leaders stood and clapped. All except the humans. Instead, one human chuckled, then another, then someone laughed out loud. The Empire didn't understand. Why do they laugh? Because they're mocking us. But why? Because Earth had been through worse. Through fire, famine, nuclear wars, invasions, cyber wars, and silence. Earth had survived its own chaos. And they didn't see the Empire as terrifying. They saw it as funny. The humans had returned to Earth. They brought stories of the Galactic Empire, its ships, cities, weapons, and endless pride. World leaders listened carefully. Generals stayed silent. Scientists began working in secret labs. But the people? The people laughed. They laughed at the giant golden thrones, at the opera about the Emperor, at the glowing ships meant to show fear. They laughed because they had lived through real horror, plagues, floods, wars that lasted generations, bombs that turned cities into dust. A golden empire with shiny robes didn't scare them. It annoyed the Empire, and the Empire didn't like being ignored. The Empire's plan on Valerian Prime, the Emperor was furious. "They dare mock us?" he roared. "We gave them an invitation, not a choice." Lord Virex bowed. "They are bold, Your Highness, but perhaps still weak. They need correction." The Emperor raised one finger. "Send them a warning. A small fleet? No, send a symbol, just enough to frighten them. Should we fire on their planet? No, not yet. Just show them how weak they are. The test begins." 3 Empire warships appeared near Earth's moon. The sky above the Pacific Ocean shimmered as the ships came out of warp. They were large, sharp, and black, floating silently. Their message came quickly. "We are here to remind you of your place. Do not mistake our patience for weakness." Secret bases across Earth. Human radars locked onto them. Military leaders waited. "Shall we fire, sir?" one general asked. General Cade shook his head. "No. Let them make the first move." The game of nerves. The Empire ships circled the moon. They launched a single warning blast, aimed near Earth's orbit but far from any target. A line of fire stretched across the sky. On Earth, people watched the red glow above them. It was terrifying. Beautiful, Strange, but no one screamed. They had seen worse on their own news channels. The Empire expected fear. Instead, they got silence. The human response, back in orbit, the lead Empire ship received a message from Earth. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't even a demand. It was just one line. "You are being watched." The Empire captain laughed. "Watched? By who? Their satellites?" "Sir," said one officer, "something is wrong." "What is it?" "Our systems are changing. We're losing connection." The blackout one by one, the three Empire ships began to shut down. Their lights blinked, their weapons froze, their engines stopped. "Sir, controls are offline." "Reboot, reboot now." Nothing worked. Inside the ships, crew members began to panic. The doors wouldn't open, the lights flickered, and then darkness. Complete blackout. The silent return. 2 hours later, Earth's telescopes noticed something. The Empire ships were slowly drifting. Not moving on their own, they were being towed. But by what? A human drone ship, small, invisible to alien eyes, was dragging them gently toward Mars' orbit. The Empire had not seen it, not felt it, but it had hacked them, entered them, and shut them down. Without a single shot fired. The message inside. When Empire forces recovered the ships from Mars' orbit, they found the insides untouched. No bodies missing, no systems destroyed. Everything was perfect. Except one thing. Written across the command room walls in plain, clear alien language were the words, "You wanted to test us. You failed!" The Emperor's rage back on Valerian Prime, the Emperor screamed. "How did they do this? They are primitive! Weak!" Lord Virex stood still, pale. "We underestimated them." "We? No. You underestimated them." "They didn't even use weapons. Just knowledge. Then find their weakness. Now." Earth's silence back on Earth. General Cade stood at a window, watching the stars. Behind him, the Defense Council sat in silence. "They won't stop now," said a general. "No," Cade said. "They'll come harder next time." "Should we prepare our full fleet?" Cade shook his head. "Not yet. Let them think we're still weak. Let them keep poking." "Why?" Cade smiled faintly. "Because every time they test us, they teach us how to break them faster." The Empire could not understand Earth. 3 of its warships had been humiliated. No weapons were fired, no soldiers were lost. And yet, the entire fleet had been shut down, hacked, and returned like broken toys. But Earth said nothing. There were no threats, no speeches, no messages of power, only silence, and worse, laughter. The spies arrive. The Emperor, furious and confused, gave a new order. "Send spies. I want to know how they think. I want to know what they hide." 3 cloaked Empire agents were sent to Earth, 1 to New York, 1 to Tokyo, and 1 to London. They wore disguise suits, hidden from human eyes. They had studied many worlds. They expected fear, poverty, chaos. But what they found was strange. The Tokyo agent in Tokyo, the spy moved through streets filled with lights, screens, and people. He saw humans laughing at comedy shows, playing games, and eating in noisy restaurants. He entered a bookstore and found titles like 101 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse, The Last War, Earth Wins Again, Aliens Invade but Grandma Fights Back. He was confused. Why do they laugh about war? He left the store, more nervous than before. The London agent. The agent in London visited a university. He expected students to talk about surrender or peace. Instead, he heard a lecture on psychological warfare, with the professor saying, "True power is not about force. It's about what you don't show." Students laughed and nodded. Later, the agent followed a group of young humans to a pub. They joked about aliens with big heads and golden robes. They laughed as if they had already won. What kind of species jokes about its enemies? The agent whispered. The New York agent in New York, the spy entered a tech conference. He saw humans showing new AIs, drones, and language hacking programs. One AI on display translated alien code in real time, faster than the Empire's best tools. The audience clapped and cheered. When someone asked, "What if the Empire sees this?" the inventor replied with a smile, "Then they'll know Earth speaks every language, including war." The agent quickly sent a message to Valerian Prime. They are not afraid. They are preparing. Hidden beneath the surface, while the spies watched the cities, they missed what lay underground, below deserts, forests, and oceans. Earth was building, hidden labs, quantum research stations, shipyards inside asteroids, silent fleets waiting, in shadow. These weren't human projects from today. They were old, very old. Backups from the Cold War. Leftover tech from secret alliances. Buried bunkers full of knowledge too dangerous for the world above. Earth had been preparing long before the Empire arrived, not for aliens, but for itself. And that made the Empire's fear even worse. The Council meets in a deep underground chamber. General Cade met with global leaders. Screens showed updates from space. "They sent spies," said an Indian intelligence officer. "We let them see what we wanted," Cade replied. "What about the old projects?" "Still hidden, still growing." He pointed to a large map marked in red. "This is not about defense anymore. This is about control." "Are we ready?" someone asked. "Almost. Let them laugh for now. Let them think we're confused." He smiled coldly. "The moment they stop laughing, that's when we strike." Panic in the Empire. The three agents returned to Valerian Prime. They gave their reports. They described Earth's humor, their silence, their strange calm. But more than anything, they described the feeling. "It's like they're hiding something," one spy said. "Not just weapons," said another. "A plan, a purpose." "They don't talk about war. They wait for it." The Emperor stood in silence. Then he whispered, "We may have awakened something we don't understand." The strange broadcast one night, Empire sensors picked up a strange signal, sent directly from Earth. It wasn't coded. It wasn't hidden. It was just a video. A human man stood in front of a camera. He wore no armor, no medals, just a black suit and a calm smile. He said only 4 words. "We're still just watching." Then the screen went dark. Valerian grows cold on. Valerian Prime. No one laughed anymore. The golden cities seemed colder. The proud officials no longer walked with pride. They had visited hundreds of planets across the galaxy, but none had made them feel this way. None had made them feel like prey until now. The Galactic Empire was done watching. The spies had failed. The silent humans had not panicked. Their laughter had become a shadow hanging over every Imperial meeting. The Emperor finally said, "No more games. Send the Titan-class dreadnought. Let them witness what real power is." The Titan-class dreadnought, it was called the Vermithar, the largest warship the Empire had ever built. A floating fortress, 5 kilometers long, covered in armor, armed with plasma cannons, shield breakers, and a weapon known as the Star Lance, a beam that could pierce a planet's crust. Its engines roared like thunder. When it left the docks of Valerian Prime, even nearby cities trembled. Across the galaxy, species bowed when they saw it pass. But it was now headed toward one target, Earth, a rival in orbit. The Vermithar entered Earth's orbit without warning. No message, no ceremony, just a giant shadow stretching over the planet below. In the skies above Europe and Asia, people looked up and saw something vast blocking the stars. The ship spoke only one sentence: "Surrender now or face judgment." Earth's response inside a mountain bunker, General Cade stood before a holographic table, his eyes locked on the incoming data. "Is it real?" one scientist asked. "Yes," said Cade. "They finally sent the monster." "Should we engage?" "No," Cade said calmly. "Not yet. Let them make the first move." The world held its breath, and Earth remained silent. The first strike. The Vermithar charged its star lance. It fired a test beam into the Pacific Ocean. The water exploded. A storm formed in seconds. Waves rose like mountains. The message was clear. This is just a sample. The Empire waited for screams, begging or surrender. Instead, they got a signal. A simple voice, smooth and direct. Warning acknowledged. No panic. Just cold words. Something moves. Suddenly, something small moved in Earth's orbit. Too small to be a ship. Too fast to be tracked. The Empire's scanners struggled. "Unidentified object approaching," yelled an officer on the Vermithar. "Fire all defenses," the captain shouted. Cannons roared. Beams filled the sky, but they hit nothing. The drone enters. A tiny black drone entered the Vermithar silently. It had no weapons. Just a blinking red light. It floated through the ship's halls, scanning systems, avoiding guards like a ghost. Within minutes, the engines flickered. The shields weakened. The power core began to hum strangely. And then, blackout. The message. On the bridge, the Empire crew scrambled in darkness. When emergency lights came back, they found a new message blinking on every screen. "You wanted a show. Curtains up." Broadcast to the galaxy at that exact moment, a signal was sent to every major planet in the Empire. The footage showed the Vermithar, dead in space, spinning slowly above Earth. Then the camera zoomed out and showed something. Worse, 5 more human ships uncloaked around it, sleek, black, unknown design, silent but terrifying. The Emperor watches on Valerian Prime. The Emperor stood frozen. "How many ships did they build?" he whispered. No one answered, because no one knew. The humans had never shown their full fleet, not even now. This was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire had made a mistake, not just by attacking Earth, but by underestimating humans. Now their greatest warship, the Vermithar, was floating powerless in orbit. 5 unknown human warships surrounded it like silent predators, and Earth still hadn't revealed its true strength. The Emperor was furious. "I want answers," he said. "Where did humans get this power? Who trained them? What are they hiding?" And so, the Empire began to dig deeper. The forbidden files in a secret archive on Valerian Prime, hidden from even high commanders. A small team of researchers worked day and night. They found old records, data logs, ancient warnings from explorers who had first visited Earth centuries ago. One name appeared again and again. Project Helix. The Empire had buried it, covered it up, too strange, too dangerous. Now they reopened it, and regretted. It instantly, Project Helix, thousands of years ago, a rogue imperial scientist named Dr. Ilar Varun had visited Earth alone. His report was never made public, but now the data spoke clearly. Humans are not natural. They are not primitive. They are designed. Designed for what? The report continued. They are made to learn, to fight, to adapt faster than any known species. They grow under pressure, and when pushed too far, they become something terrifying. Dark Theory, the researchers brought the data to the Emperor. "You're saying they were built?" "Yes, Your Grace," the lead researcher said. "Genetically shaped over thousands of years, maybe by an older race, maybe by themselves. For what purpose? For survival. And when they reach the edge, they evolve into killers." "Have they reached that edge?" the Emperor asked. "After what we did to them, I believe they have. The clues were always there." The Empire had always found Earth strange, a planet full of violent history, a species that fought wars over ideas, not resources, a culture that loved competition, danger, risk, a people who smiled while bleeding. But they had ignored all the signs. Now those signs were becoming warnings. Back on Earth, General Cade stood in front of a massive screen, watching the Imperial fleet retreat slowly. He turned to his aide, a young lieutenant. "Do they understand now?" she asked. Cade nodded. "Not yet. But they're afraid. And fear is the first step." A message to the stars Earth sent out a new signal. Not to the Empire, but to the rest of the galaxy. It said, "To all who watched, quietly, you saw the Empire attack us. You saw our silence. You saw their defeat. Let this be clear. Humanity does not start wars, but we finish them." The panic spreads across the galaxy. Smaller species began to whisper. If Earth could defeat the Vermithar, what else could they do? Rebel worlds started preparing. Old enemies of the Empire began contacting Earth secretly. The balance was shifting, and the Galactic Empire was no longer feared, because now everyone feared humans. The Empire thought they had seen everything. They were wrong. They had seen Earth's warships. They had seen Earth's weapons. But they had not yet seen Earth's greatest force, a force that had never been revealed, not to the galaxy, not even to Earth's allies. It was time for the galaxy to meet Earth's hidden army. The silent soldiers General Cade stood in a deep underground base beneath Alaska. Above him were snowstorms. Below him, silence. Inside the black walls were rows of sealed chambers. Each chamber contained one soldier, not living, not dead, waiting. "Are they ready?" Cade asked. The scientist beside him, Dr. Hanley, nodded slowly. "They've been ready for 20 years. Project Revenant long ago, when Earth feared galactic invasion, they had begun Project Revenant. They knew regular soldiers wouldn't survive alien wars, so they built something else. Soldiers with no fear. No pain, no limits. Soldiers who could wake from deep stasis and fight within seconds. Powered by nanotech. Trained with every known battle simulation, and most terrifying of all, they remembered everything. Activation Earth's warning. Message had been sent, but the Empire ignored it. They regrouped. They sent more ships. General Cade sighed. "They never learn," he said. He turned to the control panel and pressed the button. Revenant units online. The ground shook, one by one. The chambers opened, and the soldiers stepped out. They looked human, but weren't. Cold eyes, no emotion. Armor fused to their skin, weapons built into their bodies. "Orders?" one asked. "Protect Earth," Cade said. "And the rest? Destroy anything that dares attack us again. First strike, the Empire's new fleet arrived near Mars. 20 ships, heavy armor, new tech. But before they could scan, the Revenants appeared. No engines, no warning. They dropped out of nowhere, silent, fast, deadly. In minutes, 10 ships were gone. The rest tried to flee. They never made it. The message was clear. The galaxy finally understood. Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was ready for total war. The Revenants didn't chase. They didn't speak. They simply returned to Earth, waiting for the next threat. Fear, across the stars on. The Empire's throne world, panic spread. The Emperor was silent. His generals had no plans left. His spies had no answers. "What have we awakened?" the Emperor asked. "A storm," whispered one of his advisors. The new, balanced, neutral planets began to declare support for Earth. Old empires backed down. Black markets whispered stories of human soldiers who could not die. Some said Earth had hundreds of thousands of revenants waiting. No one knew for sure, and that fear was more powerful than any weapon. Humanity's final warning Earth broadcasted one more signal. We did not ask for war. We only wanted peace. But if war is forced on us again, then the stars will burn, and only humans will remain. The Empire believed they had time to rebuild, time to prepare. But Earth gave them none, because this time, humanity attacked first, a new kind of war, no warning, no declaration. The Empire's outer colonies began to go dark, first 1, then 5, then 20. When ships were sent to investigate, they found nothing. No life, no structures, only the Empire's banners, burning in space. Earth's hidden fleet, it wasn't just the revenants now. Earth had kept secrets even deeper than that. In the far side of the solar system, behind Pluto's frozen shadow, waited the Phantom Fleet, black ships, no heat signature, no sound, invisible to scans, powered by alien tech, stolen and upgraded. "Launch them," Commander Hale ordered. In less than 1 hour, the fleet jumped straight into Imperial space. The throne world shakes on the Empire's capital planet. Alarms rang day and night. The skies lit up with fire. Earth's Phantom Fleet didn't just attack bases. They struck factories, shipyards, data cores, fuel depots. Within 3 days, half the Empire's military network collapsed. The Emperor watched helplessly. "How did they reach us?" he asked. No one answered. The betrayal, even worse. Some of the Empire's own worlds switched sides. The Varnak system surrendered and offered Earth secret codes. The Drell ambassador opened the gates of their orbital stations. The old allies of the Empire remembered Earth's mercy and chose humanity. The Emperor was alone. Earth's last broadcast. Earth sent one final message to the throne world. It wasn't long. It wasn't angry. It was simple. "This is the price of your arrogance. This is the end of your empire. You could have been our friend, but now you will be a warning." The final hour. The USS Black Star, Earth's most powerful warship, entered orbit above the throne world. It didn't fire. Instead, it deployed 5 Revenant teams. They landed on the palace roof. They didn't destroy the city. They didn't burn the planet. They walked straight into the throne room. The Emperor sat frozen. The leader of the Revenants, Unit 1, stepped forward. "You will surrender," it said. "And if I refuse?" the Emperor asked. Unit 1 raised one hand and pointed behind him. The skies above the planet were now filled with human ships, hundreds, maybe thousands. More kept arriving. "Then we erase you," Unit 01 replied. "No more empire." The Emperor lowered his crown. "We surrender." And just like that, the Galactic Empire fell. Not with a great war, but with a quiet nod. A new order. Earth did not destroy the Empire's worlds. They didn't enslave them. Instead, they sent teachers, engineers, medic teams. They rebuilt faster than anyone expected, but no one forgot who ended the Empire, and no one dared challenge Earth again. And yet, in the far edge of the galaxy, a new signal appeared. A dark transmission, in a language unknown. Something older than the Empire had awakened. Something watching. Something waiting. The Empire was gone. Humanity now stood at the top. But something dark was rising, and it had been waiting for millions of years. The signal in. The far reaches of the galaxy, beyond charted space, a strange signal began to pulse. Not random, not natural. It was a code, a warning, or a call. The signal reached the edge of Earth's new territory, and Earth noticed. At the Solar Defense Command, alarms went off. "This isn't Imperial tech," said Commander Reyes. Then who sent it? Asked the technician. We don't know, but the signal is heading straight for us. The dead zone. The coordinates pointed to an ancient area known only as the dead zone, a part of the galaxy no species ever explored. Even the Empire had avoided it. Old legends called it cursed. Ships sent there never returned. Now, Earth's top scientists gathered. They scanned the signal, decoded fragments, and saw something terrifying. Origin, pre-galactic civilization. Age, estimated 3 million years. Status, unknown, possibly active. Designation, entity. 0. Humanity prepares, Earth didn't wait. They sent the USS Black Star, the Revenants, and 3 fleets into the edge of the dead zone. As they moved deeper, strange things began happening. Ships lost communication for minutes. Crew members heard whispers on the comms. Star maps began shifting on their own. This place is alive, whispered Captain Harlow. And then they found it. The vault, a planet unlike any other. Black surface, no atmosphere, no sun, yet it pulsed with power. Buried deep beneath the crust, scanners detected a massive structure, a vault sealed with alien energy. The Revenants landed. They entered. The vault. Inside, they saw carvings, written in perfect English. We knew you would come. We made you. We are not your gods, but we are your future. Project Genesis Earth's scientists were stunned. The vault held genetic blueprints, records of thousands of species, humans included. A hidden truth was revealed. Humanity was not an accident. Long ago, someone, had placed humans on Earth to grow, to survive, to become something more. Not alone. As Earth tried to understand, more signals activated. Vaults opened on 5 other forgotten worlds. Each sent a single message. Phase 1 complete. Phase 2 begins. And then, something woke up. A structure hidden in the black void, bigger than any known planet, powered on. An artificial intelligence older than time. It looked toward Earth and whispered one word into every human ship. Awakened. What comes next, Earth returned to full alert. The Galactic Alliance, now loyal to Earth, asked, "What is that thing?" Commander Hale answered, "We don't know, but it might be the real reason we were created. And we might be part of a much, much bigger war." Deep inside the alien vault, the final message played. It was not a warning. It was a memory. Vision filled the minds of Earth's leaders. It showed a galaxy from millions of years ago, when no humans existed, when something terrible ruled the stars. They were called the architects, not gods, not machines, something in between. They built galaxies, created life, controlled time. But one day, they fought among themselves. One group wanted to keep power. The other wanted to set life free. The war destroyed nearly everything, but one side left behind a weapon. Humanity. The hidden army humans were not made to serve. They were made to rise, to grow strong, suffer, learn, and evolve, to become the only species that could challenge the architects if they ever returned. And now, they had Entity 0 was one of them, a survivor, the last of the tyrant architects. And it was coming back to finish what it started. The final choice at Earth Command. Leaders met in silence. They had become the strongest force in the galaxy. But now, they faced something from before time itself. Admiral Nova asked a single question. "Do we run?" No one answered. Then President Amani stood and said, "No, humanity was made for this. We were born in war, forged in pain, built to protect this galaxy. If this thing wants a war, then we give it one." Battle in the Black, the USS. Black Star led the charge. Beside it flew the Revenants, rebuilt council fleets, and thousands of warships from every allied world. They entered the void. Entity 0. waited there. It had no form. It was a living shadow, a machine mind bigger than any. Planet it laughed, across every ship, every comm. You were meant to kneel. You were made to obey. But Earth didn't kneel. Earth fired. The unseen power. At first, nothing worked. Missiles disappeared, lasers bent away, ships vanished without sound. But then something strange happened. Humans didn't give up. They adapted, learned fast, fought smarter. They used chaos, unpredictable tactics, old weapons. Entity Zero couldn't understand. And finally, the Black Star reached its core. The last strike Captain Riker stood at the helm. The core pulsed before them, a heart of light and data. He gave the order. Fire the Omega Core, a weapon never tested before, a human creation powered by unknown. Tech from the vaults. It struck. The light spread. Entity. Zero screamed, not in pain but in fear. It has begun. You will awaken more. You will bring the end. And then it vanished. Gone. The aftermath. Silence filled the void. Earth's ships floated. Scarred but alive, all across the galaxy, lights blinked on, ancient machines watching, waiting. The war was over, but a bigger journey had just begun. The legacy, now the galaxy knew the truth. Humanity was not weak, not primitive, not accidental. They were chosen. They were the key to something bigger than anyone could imagine, and deep in forgotten corners of the stars, more vaults began to open.